What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Line of the Stars. I'm Jordan, and we're back today with another episode of the Eagle Moss Enterprise D from Fanhome. Oh, buddy, this is going to be a big one, actually. We're kind of reaching another milestone, I think, because in stage 31, and we'll get there here in a little bit. It's not going to take us long to get there because I've already done a lot of the prep work to get ready for this. Stage 31 is a big one where we're going to be installing the first saucer PCB and testing up all of the lights at once for the first time. And I've been waiting for this one because in the next episode, we're going to come back and I'm going to do a proper tutorial on how to do light blocking on this model. It is a light bleed monster, and we're about to find out at the end of this episode how bad it is. Now, remember, I have done a bunch of light blocking work, but there were still a couple areas that I needed to get taken care of. So, we're going to be seeing how that went and with the new panels that we're going to be assembling. And then for the next little bit, we're going to be assembling whole panels, but not installing them. And I think it's because in stage 31, we're going to be putting in a ton of wires, and they're probably just trying to spare us from the madness. So we're going to go ahead and get started with stage 28. And I have also made a decision on what we're going to be doing with the neck portion of the battle section. And really, it's going to be, I'm going to practice. I'm going to continue to practice because once we get this thing assembled, we're not going to be seeing it again for several months. I'm going to have several months worth of time to practice getting all of the resin on the curved neck, the neck pieces, the difficult pieces to get taped off, the things that I have not mastered yet. I'm going to have several months to practice. For the sake of completionism and so I don't have to keep storing parts, I am going to go ahead and assemble and do what I can now to see if it's even going to be necessary. A lot of what we're going to be dealing with are going to be like acrylic pieces that have the built-in reflectors and windows in them. And so really all we got to do is a little bit more light blocking. And if it turns out okay, I got to be honest, I may just live with that. So we're going to go ahead and start with stage 28 and then move through to stage 31. We're going to blast through stage 28, 29, and 30 because we're not doing any of the window work. We're just going to be putting in a couple of life pods and then basically assembling the reflectors. We don't have to worry about the windows, and I'll show you as we go along because I have already done all my work. So let's go ahead and get building, shall we? All right, so in stage 28, fairly simple stage, all we're going to be really doing is assembling this panel. This is going to be set aside. We're going to be putting in a single LED. Once again, we're not going to be using our windows because everything's resined up. It's beautiful. So let's go ahead and just get moving, shall we? Get this open. And get our parts out. And I'll go ahead and show you. This is a die cast piece, and you can tell that just by the fact that it's in the plastic. And we're going to go ahead and get this out. Set that aside. I like using these for CA application. And as you can see there, we got our resin windows in place. Following the window pattern, we only have one lit window here on the bottom row and then two on the top row. I did have some difficulty. I had to relearn how to do all the resin, and as it had been a little bit. So, yeah, it was a little bit of a rough sequence through a couple of these. But by the time that we get to the probably 2 episodes from now, I've resined up probably 13 pieces now. So they're ready to go, and I just got another shipment. So we're going to be doing that. But here's our whole section piece. Here is a very interestingly shaped piece to the neck. So this, basically the top of the cobra head comes in right here, and then this is where the front of it is. This is going to be where the transporter emitter is. This is a very interesting piece. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, is that warped or whatever? No, that's what it is. This is a plastic piece. Not surprising. This would be a very difficult piece to get put in place. And then let's go ahead and just get everything else out here. We have an LED windows that we are definitely not going to be using. Our escape pods. I'm going to go ahead and set these windows off to the side. and then some BM screws. So let's go ahead and get all of our plastic away. We are going to be, this is going to be the last hull panel that we're going to be actually putting into the Enterprise, by the way, for the next little bit. We're going to be assembling, but then not doing anything with them. So, all right. We got our BM screws there, and just in case, there's been a couple screws that have fallen out of the package, so just in case, we will go ahead and have those ready. Now, let's go ahead and get started with the usual. So, we have painted and done our light blocking with some electrical tape across the back. Now, what I need to do is I need to grab my electrical tape. I'm going to go ahead and pull a strip across my work surface here. And I just like to do this. It's a very simple way of handling this. Pull away my tape. And then, very rudimentarily, I'm going to pull up just a little bit there. Make a mark there. And cut across. I used to have this template marked on my desk, but it looked like a staple and it was driving me nuts. So we're going to go and set that off to the side. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our single-bladed nippers. We're going to go ahead and remove the escape hatches, escape pods, whatever you want to call them, off the sprue, off to the side. And we don't need to worry about cleaning these up or anything, sanding. It's no worries. And as a reminder, we're going to have these pointed down. So we're going to have that like, oh, like that. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit, shall we? There we go. So we're just going to go ahead and put this down like this. Put these in. Down just to make sure. All right, those are in place. Now we're going to need a piece roughly about, oh, yay big. Pull it up. And I'm just going to lay that across the top. And then what I'm going to do, I've been employing this method since beginning my resin window. I am going to be using a flashlight. This is just a Harbor Freight, cheap Harbor Freight light. And I like to use it to see if I can see any light coming through. I want to make sure that my light blocking works. And we are all good. All right. So, good flashlight is going to be necessary for this whole process. So there we go. Now, very simply, we are going to take this reflector piece and we are going to put it in place, just like so. You're going to see the 3 screw points. And then we're going to take our LED, and before we screw it in place, we're going to be putting it right into here. Let's make sure that it's in its proper spot. Get it down onto its tabs. And then we're going to use... See, I knew it. I knew there was some I knew there were some screws that were missing. I'm just going to go ahead and grab... There's a bunch of... what do you call it? Screw... there's a kit screw box. A perfect grade Falcon box. There's the Enterprise box. There's a couple little baggies of screws because I like open the things to get access to the panels before we do this. And yeah, I'm not surprised. A couple of them have fallen out, and they're definitely at the bottom there. But, oh, you know what? LOL. There it is. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right. DM screws out. And of course, I'm following along with my Enterprise D.com. And as a reminder, for any screws that are going into metal, you're going to want to use 3-in-1 oil. It helps us guide the threads into the zackum. Zackum. All right, I'm going to just very lightly screw in all three, and then I'm going to torque them down individually in a pattern so as to not overdo it. Don't want to crack it, but you want to make sure everything is all nice and secure. There we are. That one's in. So I'm going to tighten this one down. And the first one. And then the second one. There we are. All right, that's nice and put in place. There we are. Now, let's go ahead. I believe we're going to be taking this. We're going to go ahead and test it. Let me grab my board. Here's my board. We're going to go ahead and plug this one into one of the smaller ports. There, it's a 2-pin. Make sure you got your polarity right. And we have a light. All right, we're good to go. So let's go ahead and unplug that. We will be needing this later on in this episode. Now, our 1 DM screw. Let's go ahead and put that off to the side. We are now going to need BM screws. This is not going to be needed until the next stage, so let's go ahead and set that off to the side. Get all that off the way. And let us bring back the saucer. Very cool. I've already done all those windows, and there's many more. All right. So this piece is going to slot in right here. And this channel is designed right here to have the wires kind of go in and then down and in. So what we're going to do is slot this in, just like this, into the 3 tabs. It is going to sit over the top of this panel, and you want to make sure it is pushed down. Now, I am going to take the wire here and push it down. But first, I almost had that wrong. Oh, it's in there. It likes being in there. There we go. So I need to do this first. So we're going to take the LED, bend it down like this. And then what we're going to do, I need to turn the saucer so that it makes a little bit more sense for me. I'm like, look at the instructions going, okay, this is a little strange. So let's get our screws out from underneath here. This thing is getting large and in charge for sure. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this wire, tuck this in here like that into that channel, and then we're going to run the wire right through here. And then we're going to plug this in to this spot. There we are. And it clicks into place up here on its tabs. Very good. So now let's go ahead and flip the saucer over. Almost dump our screws. I'm holding onto the panel right now so it doesn't move. Make sure that everything is moved correctly, which it is. Perfect. Right into the exact channel where I need it to go. And then what we're going to do is secure this into place right up here with 2 BM screws. So I'm going to do this left-handed because I'm holding everything in place. So we'll see how this one goes. Nice. Sometimes it works really well. Okay, grab one more BM screw. You can let go of that now. I almost wanted to do another one left-handed, but kind of unnecessary, Jordan. I'll get that one to that screw hole there. All right. So that's secured in place. Let's go ahead and flip it over. Take a look. And there was our whole panel put in place. And man, once I've been paying attention to how all this is routed, thank you, Todd, for the amazing instructions. These seams are going together really, really nice. And once again, the resin windows look amazing on the model. So there we go. That's stage 28. Let's go ahead and move on to stage 29. All right, so here we are. We have our stage 29 package. Let's go ahead and get it opened up. Be careful not to do too many crazy things here. There we go. All that pulled off. Go ahead and be careful here. I almost dumped the package. Let's go ahead and grab the dark windows. You have some BP screws. Let's go ahead and get those into their spot real quick. We have a bunch of LEDs. So we have 2 double sets of LEDs here. Some lifeboat windows. This is kind of a big stage here. We have some tape that we're not going to use. Thanks, Fanhome. We have our clear windows. Let's go ahead and dump all that out and just be careful. We have a bunch of LEDs in the stage. So, red and yellow, black and white, and then red, black, yellow, and green. And then a couple sets of the blue, black, yellow, and reds. Let's go ahead and take these windows, set them aside. Then, we're done with stage 28. Let's go and grab our stage 29 card. And here is our window setup for stage 29. This panel was difficult, specifically that window. You can see a little bit of the damage from having to unfocus that. You can see a little bit of the damage from having to punch the window out a couple times, but there it is. Well, come on. Anyway, yeah, so this one was a little bit of a challenging one. So let's go ahead and... Oh, this is going to be a big stage. First up, we're going to very simply take our whole panel section and we're going to install our escape pod covers. So let's go ahead and grab our single bladed nippers. That one's already separated slightly. Someone probably twisted that off the sprue. Twisting off a sprue. To be a kid again. Toss that sprue. We also have some BM screws. So where is that? I'm going to go ahead and continue to use the same container for all of these. So let's go ahead and get our BM screws. Open there. And I believe we also have some BP screws as well. Set that up to the top. We got BM. There's also a BM. Let's go ahead and get our BP screws out. Looks like there's some AP screws as well. BM, BP. Here's our nav light. It's kind of cool. We're going to need to do a little bit of work on that. We have our resin reflector window piece. And there we are. So now, let's go ahead and quickly get our escape pod covers put into place. Get that in there. Make sure they're pointing down in the correct direction before you install them. Flip that over and take a look. Yep, they're installed correctly. There was one time early on I did all of those. I did an entire panel incorrectly. All right. Now we're just going to lay that across the top. Pull that off. There we are. And there they are installed. Let's go and grab our flashlight. do a check to see if there's any light through there. There's not. Fantastic. All right, that one's all taken care of. Although, I think I might want to take half of a piece of tape on each side here. Wow, never seen tape do that. Just a piece of tape on each side to kind of make sure it's secured into place, because I also need that effect as well. I want to be able to turn this thing over with ease. Before I started resining the windows, it was very much a pain in the butt to get these reflectors installed and getting the LEDs put into place properly and doing it properly. So, yeah, there we are. Now, let's go ahead and grab our reflector panel. And this is going to be reflector panel U315A. And we're going to go ahead and put that in place right here. And then we're going to one of the yellow. Yep. Is it this one? Yes. So, the yellow white. Yep. Into this notch right here. And Jordan, you don't need to be careful. I'm still kind of like approaching it like I was before. So, what I'm going to do is actually do one of these. Take that. Get it stuck in its proper place where it's supposed to be. Then just put this right over the top. And that's the beauty of the resin windows, other than how they look. Now we're going to flip this over and install it with 3 BP screws. Our BP's over here. Don't over torque these. It can be very bad. Thankfully, we're not having to remove them and replace them as I did before. I was having to upscale the size of the screw, an AP to a BP, so on and so forth. You hear it click into place, and just kind of run through and once again cinch them down. There we go. All taken care of. Now we're going to test this portion of the lights by connecting to one of our 4-pin receivers. Once again, make sure to double check the polarity. And we are good to go. Very nice. So always want to check to make sure that everything's working properly. And we are going to set this aside for later use. I think we're going to be installing this probably in stage 35, 36, somewhere in that neighborhood. So that piece is complete. Now, we are going to go ahead and bring back the curved hole piece here from the neck. And what we're going to do is install our LEDs. Where is it here? There we are. We're going to turn this over. We're going to install our windows. There we go. Sorry, had to get my orientation correct. And our lights right up here. And we're going to start with putting the reflector over the top. And then we're going to grab the green lead here. And the red and black lead. And we're going to take the green, get it tucked up right here. And it's a very strange connection. We're going to need to light block that. And it tells you right off the bat. And that's why they give you those little pieces of tape that I said I'm not going to use. And then you're also going to take the LED here. Slot it over the top. That there. This one you don't need to light block. But this one we will. So what we're going to do is take, I say I'm not going to use it. I could use electrical tape, but I'm just going to use 2 pieces of this. I'm going to take that, put this right over the top here. I'm going to grab the second piece. And put it over top right here. Now I'm going to grab the third piece because why not? put it over the top right there. All right, so that's that put in place. Then we're going to secure this reflector panel in place with 2 AP screws. I believe these might be some of the smaller ones we get. It's going to be an AP screw right here. Don't over torque them, remember. And one right here. Okay. Now, all right. So next up, I had to kind of like reread the instructions to really make sure I understood what was going on here. It was a little complicated, if I'm being real, Todd. If I'm just saying. What we're going to do is let's switch cameras over here. What we're going to do is we're going to we have the 2 other sets of LEDs, and this is what wasn't very clear, and we need to route them through different points here to make sure that we're able to get them plugged in, because we're about to start sealing up this side of the neck. So we're going to grab this first set, and we're going to route them up through here, and then I'm going to grab a pair of tweezers here to help guide. I'm going to pull. And then this needs to come through down this way, okay? And then that is going to plug in. Let's go ahead and just get this one plugged in here real quick. To these 2 ports. To these 2 ports right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that one plugged in. Get the easier or the more difficult one out of the way. And there we are. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to grab the second set of LEDs, and we're going to route this one. This wire is just kind of in the way. Gotta push that back inside. It's kind of not necessary to be out, actually. All right, so this one is going to go right through this post, right? Is it the first post? Yes, it is. So that one is going to come through this post right here. Tuck that in, grab it, pull it through, and then it's going to go into the plug right next to it. Make sure you have your polarity lined up properly. You don't want to damage the pins. There we are. And that is what these 2 should look like. And we move on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this panel and we're going to hook it up to the PCB. And to do so, we're going to lay it flat like this. And then it's going to go into the corner slot right up here. Very good. That is connected. Okay, so now we're going to take the docking alignment light, and we're going to need to do a little bit of work to make sure that this is light blocked. And let's go ahead and get this opened up. And that's what the docking alignment light looks like. So there's going to be 2 sides. We have the long side and then the short side. The long side needs to go down with the short side pointing up. And if everything goes in correctly, is this keyed at all? No, it's not. If everything goes in correctly, it should look something just like that. Now, what we're going to need to do is do some light blocking around the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some electrical tape. Not going to need much of it. And what we're going to do Oh, how much should I cut? You know, what's funny is this little piece here might actually just be enough. So I'm going to cut that down just a little bit. It may have not even been necessary. I'll need it eventually, maybe. I hope so. Let's go ahead and grab a piece. And all I'm going to do is basically just run along. How did you do this, Todd? Oh, I see what you did. So what he's doing, he created a strip. Oh, nice straight line there. Go ahead and cut that off right here. He's going to take it. You're going to need to use the knife there, Jordan. Put it halfway through. Like that. We're going to go ahead and get this put into place. Maybe a pair of tweezers here wouldn't be so bad. Go ahead and get that put in. Yeah, I see what you did, Todd. A little piece of tape folded up over the top of the LED there. So I see how you did that. So make that so I don't cut myself. Also stop sticking to myself. That put into place. Let's slide it in. Block the tape over very carefully. See if I can grab another pair of tweezers. I got two of these. I'm going to use one pair, my left hand, to get it in its proper housing. I'm going to take another pair, my right hand, and just kind of run the LED over the top of it. There we go. So I'm not like covering up the LED anywhere underneath, but basically, you guys can catch that there. I just kind of ran some tape along the outside and over the top of the LED to make sure that it's not being exposed, so to say. So, perfect. Nice. I thought that was going to be a little bit more difficult than it was, and thankfully it wasn't. So, now, I get to do a cool thing. Pull this light. If everything works correctly, you want to make sure that the LED that you just did sits over the top. And we might have to, well, not sits over the top, but we might have to do a little bit of pushing down here to make sure that everything goes into place. But that actually went in real nice. Wow. Very cool. Okay. So we're going to secure this in place in the rear, right back here, with two AP screws. Drop one of those in. Once again, you want to make sure that that little nav light, the nav light gets secured so you can see through it right here. All right, so don't over torque it. Grab another AP. Very nice. That's sealed up real nice, I think. I'll try to push it down a little bit here. There we go. Yep, I made just the slightest little bit of difference and it mattered. Okay. Then we're going to use 3 BM screws to go ahead and go here, here, and here. And is this a reminder to use the 3-in-1 oil when you're going into metal? There we go, BM screw right here. And we're going to be covering these up with panels later on. I've seen the issue that they give that to you, or the stage. Pretty cool. There we are. And then our final BM screw. Very nice. Excellent. All right. So I think that, my friends. Yes, we should test to see if these lights are working. Oh, and they are. You got the blinking light that shouldn't be blinking. Oh, yeah. We'll be taking care of those later. But the windows look good. Actually, don't look too bad at all. All right. Very cool. Let's go ahead and cinch that up. And I'm looking at my recording time, my friends, and this is turning into a bit of a long episode. Just get everything cinched up a little bit. I'm seeing a little bit of a panel gap there. There we are. Well, that's very cool. It is very cool to see this thing all lit up and in action, so to say. You know, that doesn't look bad. We'll see. No, I see what you're saying about some light leak. Yeah, I do see what you're saying, Todd. Okay. The Ford torpedo launcher is lit up, you know, because that's a thing. I actually hadn't seen that in action yet either. All right, well, very cool. All right, so there is stage 29 complete. Let's go ahead and move on to stage 30. And I'm realizing that we're not going to be able to get to stage 31 today. And just looking ahead to the instructions, oh, buddy, that's got to be an entire episode by itself. So we're going to be doing through stage 30 today. So let's go ahead and move on to stage 30. All right, so here's stage 30, and this one is going to be a very quick and easy stage. We're really not going to be doing too much other than assembling the reflector onto the back of this, putting the LED in, and then taking a look at this piece. That's about that. And like I said, I wanted to do more of this episode, but it's getting complicated. Just doing this little piece, and the last one took a minute, and I was kind of surprised by that. I remember the days where it was just like, okay, we're going to assemble a section like this, and then that's the whole stage. And it's totally cool to have those every now and then, and that's what we got here. So let's go ahead and get opened up the rest of the way. And let's try, when I pre-open these, it's kind of hard to do the I'm awesome part work guy and do that. Just keep the blade in place. Awesome part work guy, they call me. What the hell is that? All right, so this is another one of the very recognizable pieces on the Enterprise. This is the neck. This is the torpedo launcher. This is where they arrive with their little pods and all that. And these are very difficult pieces to resin. So we will see how this gets installed next time. I got an idea for some light blocking after looking at this assembly from the last stage. So we're going to be setting this aside until next time. When we basically, I think it's part of stage 31 where we actually put this in place, or put the lights in place, or the windows in place, but that's basically it. So we're going to go ahead and set that off to the side, along with the window panel from stage 31, or stage 29, excuse me. And then here is our window section. And once again, we're going to talk in the next episode about light blocking. We're going to talk in a couple of episodes now about light blocking and, how I'm approaching doing my windows now, because it's done a little bit differently than I've done before in the past. So that's our window section. Let's go ahead and dump the rest of this out. And stage 30. That off to the side. Bunch of windows that we do not need, which is fantastic. These ones are really, they're great, they look great, but without any of the escape pods, it's a little bit difficult to do. Just a little bit difficult. So Yeah. What we have avoided so far for windows, is this. Obviously, this isn't too bad of a process, but doing the resin windows also takes a very long time. So there's that. We're very simply just going to take some BP screws here and very simply get that opened up. Oh my god, they all just fell out. Nice. All right, got a BP there. Then what we're going to do is very simply take our LED. We're going to go ahead and split it off. We're only going to be installing one side of it because it's one of those ones where you install one side, and put it into the ship, and then come into the other side and put it in later. I have looked ahead just a little bit just to kind of get an idea. So now we have it like this. We're going to take the yellow and white LED. We go ahead and just plug it into its spot, just like that. And show. There we go. Then, this is the best part. Best part. Just right over the top. Bam. Like, you can just, like, set it right over the top. Oh, glorious. Glorious. Now we're just going to install this with 3 BP screws, and just a reminder to not over torque your pieces. All right. So there it is. Nice and installed, nice and easy. Let's go ahead and plug it in, give it a test, see how everything is working. Yep. It worked all right. There it is. Kind of hard to pick up with the lights, but yeah, absolutely working 100%. So those are all good to go. So we're going to go ahead and set that there. Let's go ahead and clean up our space real fast. All right, so that was stages 28, 29, and 30. Let's go ahead and bring the saucer up real quick, just so we can take a look-see. We got that panel installed. Everything's been tested. Looks great, and that's really over a quarter of the top of the saucer has been taken care of. We got a few more months of taking care of the top before we start moving on to the bottom. I think it's issue 15 where we where we finish up the top. So we did that. We went ahead and fully assembled these 2 pieces. Got to take a look at this bad boy and assembled the weirdly shaped piece on the Cobra head. So there we are, my friends. Pretty good. It's great to get back to building this model. I'm really excited about bringing it to you, and I think we're going to be able to get this to you a little bit early. I want to be able to release a couple of these just because I'm really enjoying building this. So next episode, I'll just go ahead and show it. I was hoping to get it here today, but 50 minutes of recording time, it's kind of a lot. So the next episode, there it is, my friends. The first PCB in the saucer section. We're going to be doing a lot of plugging in, a lot of moving and shaking, getting this thing in, and we're going to be able to test up the lights for the very first time. So that's what I got for you today, and I just want to say thank you. I know that there's a million things y'all could have done today. Instead, you spent a couple minutes with me watching me build a model, which I think is pretty damn cool. If you guys have any questions or comments, tips, tricks, please leave them down below. If you'd like to support the channel, please like and subscribe. And my friends, until we see each other again, I hope you all have a wonderful day in this beautiful world, wherever you happen to be. And just remember to always live long and prosper.